How surprised were you when you first started doing research on how much has been edited and buried? We don't even know who we are.
I'm going in was not exactly naive, but I got to say, I have something I call Evans' Law of inadequate paranoia, which says that no matter how bad you think something is, when you look into it, it's always worse. And this has been totally vindicated. Every time I turn around, I'm finding something else that makes me say, I can't believe that. I'm like you, I can't believe this. Right. I didn't believe that.
I want to take you next. We're gonna take a break, and then I'm gonna come back because some people will say that's ancient history. Yeah, sure. You'll discredit the founders, but something that happened in 1948 or 1950 is ancient history. Let's go to today, and we have the timeline here. Show me what is being affected now. The same things that happened then that are happening now. Hang on, we'll be back in just a second.
Yeah.
M. Stanton Evans. I'm looking for the book. I don't know where I put it. So are you related to M. Night Shyamalan? No?
No.
Blacklisted by History, The Untold Story of Senator Joe McCarthy. Please get this book. How old is this, M?
It came out in 2007.
Okay. It is, it's frightening. It's frightening, but it is the truth. And here's why you need to know history, because it is repeating itself. And I want to talk a little bit about the parallels between the Obama administration and the FDR administration as it comes into play with communists. We have Marxist, Maoists, communists in and around the White House, influencing and actually working with. We had that with FDR. Both denied it at the time. Yes or no?
Well, you know a lot more about what's happening now than I do. I tell people if it happened after 1954, I don't know anything about it. I'm stuck in the 50s doing this stuff. But I've listened to you, and I know you know a lot about this. But I know what happened back then, and there are a lot of similarities. And one of the things that is similar is this use of a crisis to railroad every kind of radical thing possible that otherwise would never be feasible. You couldn't get it done.
Were they denying in the FDR? They denied that there were any communists in there.
Well, they did. They went different ways. One of the things that happened was, remember, World War II. The Soviet Union was our big ally.
Right.
And they had a doctrine then called mere membership in the Communist Party. Just a communist. So what's the problem here? And
kind of like what we have now.
A little bit. And I have a chapter on this called the Witching Hour, which meant when the witches were there. And they looked at the government back then and said, you know, the problem with this government, there are not enough communists in it. We need to go out and get more communists. So they had kind of like an affirmative action program for communists. And so they flooded into the government, particularly these temporary wartime agencies, the Office of Strategic Services, Office of War Information, and then those guys at the end of the war were dumped into the State Department. And that's where all the McCarthy, most of the McCarthy cases came from. They came from those agencies. So there was definitely the cover of the crisis and the domestic problems, and also in that case, the war, became the pretext for putting these people in the government. And so the parallels to what you're talking about are there.
Okay. Let me talk to you about this man, Cass Sunstein.
Yes.
I think, I've said, and nobody in the press, you know, they don't even question why I even say this. They just discredit me for it. I think he's the most dangerous man in America. Would you agree?
Well, again, what I know about him, I know from you mostly. I listen to you talk about Sunstein, and you may what little hair I've got left stand on end. And so
he's been watching the show. He's actually only 30 years old.
Well, I wish. But anyway, Sunstein, you talked about this requiring links of internet, you know, to the other side.
He talks about going and infiltrating and discrediting. And
I listened to every word you said about that, and I said, this is because, and one of many things about it, it's exactly parallel, the silencing part, to a document that is almost 50 years old called the Reuther Memorandum, which was issued back in the Kennedy era, authored by a man named Victor Reuther, who was the brother of Walter Reuther, one of the people that I think you've been looking at with some interest. And this was basically how to silence conservatives in all departments of our life, but particularly on the airways. And out of that came the Fairness Doctrine, which said, in essence, that if you put on the air a program by a conservative that is paid, you then have to put on an equal time program free for the opposite point of view. Very similar to what you read from
with Cass
that
Sunstein.
gentleman.
Okay.
And that was 1963.
All right. I want to come back because here's Cass Sunstein on conspiracy theories. This is Communism Un-American, and a new article that just came out, The Anatomy of a Smear. We'll do that next. We have so much to go over and so little time as usual. I mean, these are the Venona papers. This is top secret from... this is KGB stuff. We have to go over this. We have so much. We're going to have to come back another day. But I wanted to stop here because if anybody believes in any of this stuff, if I can guarantee you, and you know it to be true, because I've said, read this book. Immediately, I will be a conspiracy theorist. I will be, you name it. You've lived it your whole life.
Well,
there is a...
not entirely yet.
There is... this article came out in Town Hall magazine, and it's on me, and it's called The Anatomy of a Smear, How the Left is Fighting to Silence Glenn Beck. And it is amazing. It's written by Meredith Jessup. It is an amazing article. The only article that I've read that actually uses the facts and say, no, here's what happened, here's how they used it. This is a system, and they have done it to people in that entire timeline there.
Well, you're so right. It's happened both domestically and in foreign policy. Anti-communist leaders like Mihailovich in Yugoslavia, Chiang Kai-shek in China, and others were delegitimized by this very same technique. A Soviet agent named James Klugman was responsible for sending back to Churchill this information that Mihailovich, who was the anti-communist in Yugoslavia, was no good. He was collaborating with the Nazis, and only Tito was fighting against the Nazis. Completely false. Churchill cut off Mihailovich. They gave all their aid to Tito. Yugoslavia goes communist. Soviet agent named Solomon Adler, sitting in Chongqing, China in 1944, sending back similar reports about Chiang Kai-shek. Chiang Kai-shek is not fighting the Japanese. He's a collaborator. Only the communists are fighting the Japanese. Well, then cut off Chiang Kai-shek, give the aid to the communists. China falls to the communists. It's a pattern.
It's over and over again. America, just have no fear. Have no fear. Know the truth. The truth shall set you free. It's going to make you miserable first, but the truth shall set you free. Thank you, sir. God bless you. Okay, America, tomorrow we're going to go to some good news. We're going to go back farther, past Karl Marx, and we are going to go to our founders again, except this time our African-American founders, part 2 of Black American Heroes You've Never Heard of. That's tomorrow night, DVR from New York. Good night, America.